Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. And today I want to talk about the law of assumption. I want to start getting into this on my channel because I've been thinking back, what were the mind things that I was doing, 3 years ago when I really turned a corner and then things started to really snowball in the other direction until I felt healed. What was I doing? What changed? Aside from, and you can go back and watch some of those videos, the supplements and the things that I was doing physically, I'm now starting to think that maybe it was what I was doing mentally more so than the physical things that actually were the things that turned it around. And one of the things I really did was I focused on the law of attraction. I focused on the law of vibration. And I really started to focus on and live the law of assumption. And so I've done quite a few videos on my channel about the law of attraction and the laws of vibration, which are super important. So if you haven't seen those, go back and watch them. We'll be talking more about it, but they're really important. But the law of assumption is even more key. So I want to start talking about that. And the reason I do is because, my belief, and many's out there, is that mind, body, and soul are one. So the body, the physical, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your soul, and what's going on in your body, all of that, what's going on in your mind, it's all one, right? We are not separated. We are one. And so therefore, the mind is the body. And the body is the mind. So when you're having symptoms, when you're having physical symptoms, that is the mind projected outward through the body. That is the heart. That is the soul projected outward through the body. So it's showing you and it's telling you in a very significant way, you've got a problem. Not just in your body, you've got a problem. And we're showing you through your body, through these physical sensations that you can't ignore, that something is not right. You're not thinking the right things in your mind, right? You're not going towards the life that you want in your heart or in your mind or in your soul. Something's off and it's showing you. So it's giving you the proof that you need to do work. And so when we get obsessed about the physical body and focusing on the physical body and healing the physical body, and it's not going away, it's because the physical things that you're giving your body, that's not really causing the problem. It's a manifestation of what's happening in the mind and the heart and the soul pushed outward through the body because they are one. Remember, the mind is the body is the mind is, right? The heart is the body is the heart, the soul is the body is the soul. So saying that, if it's not shifting or changing, it means you're not going in the right direction in those areas. So we really need to change. One of the reasons that we do brain retraining is it's really a form of law of attraction. As we know, is what you think about and put out there in your mind, in your field all day, what you visualize and really call into being. If you're constantly thinking about it, you attract it towards yourself. The other reason why we do brain retraining and try to visualize the mind is for, the law of vibration. Meaning if we can elevate our state, if we can vibrate at a new level, if we can elevate the state to a higher level through visualization, through brain retraining, right? Because the brain doesn't know whether it's happening now, whether it's true or false, it just knows what you're thinking about, then that manifests outwardly through the body. But the law of assumption, which really is a Neville Goddard law that he was presenting to the world, really says you just know it. You know it to be true, you believe it. It's about deep belief and knowing. So in this law, there's not even a reason or a need to do visualization all day or to try to elevate or to call it in with all these different techniques of the law of attraction and the law of vibration, because you just know it is so. And so you don't need to do anything. You just believe it, you know it, and you live your life according to the fact that it is already done. It's done. What you want is done. And when you believe it and you live your life that way in every moment, you end up manifesting it, because you end up attracting it. You end up using the law of vibration. You end up using all of it because it's already done. You know it's done. And some people would, the example that I've heard been used is if you were trying to attract money into your life and you won the big one. You won the lottery. Say you won $10 million. And you won it. You felt that feeling in your body. You felt that elevated feeling. You are so happy. You now have attracted $10 million into your life, but you don't get it for 4 weeks. You do not get it for 4 weeks, a month. For those 4 weeks, you would start planning and living and shopping in your mind. You wouldn't worry that there's bills that are unpaid that you can't pay. You wouldn't worry about not being able to afford something this month. You would live as if you already had the $10 million because it is done. It's done. You already know you're getting it. It's coming to you. It's done. You won't have to worry about any of this in 4 weeks. So therefore you would start spending in your mind and revamping your life to fit your new lifestyle and where you might want to move and whether you want to quit your job or retire, and you would start to live as if, even before it arrived in your bank, because you believed it. You would assume, yes, I know it's coming. The law of assumption says it's coming, therefore it's coming. I assume it's coming, so I'm going to start living this way now, regardless of the fact that you couldn't pay that bill this month. You wouldn't obsess about it anymore. You wouldn't think about that anymore. That wouldn't be the reality that you're living anymore. And so it is with health. When the symptoms come and then we begin to focus on them again, and we have all those thoughts and feelings associated with, oh no, and what if it doesn't go away, and I can't take this, and all these feelings, you're slipping back into this mentality of lack, and you don't really believe it's done. You're not living as if it is done, that you know that it is coming, right? So the law of assumption would say that if you're having a decent day and you slip back into overwhelming sensations, you don't really give them a second thought. They're not part of your new reality. You're still living into your future. You're still living as if. You really ignore them, and you're thinking about your new career. You're thinking about the places you want to go. You're thinking about your goals ahead of you. You're really aligning with a new life. And so that's the law of assumption. It's like when you assume it to be true and you live in accordance with the assumption that it's done, whether or not your body is caught up to you, just like it's done, but it's not coming for 4 weeks or whatever, then you are living your way into the new body, because your mind changes, your heart changes, your soul changes, your perspective changes, what you focus on and what you think about and what you feel inside all shift. And when they shift, ultimately, the body may take a little longer, but it has no choice but to shift too, because they are one. And if you stay in that state, if you stay in a new direction, a new purpose for your soul, new feelings in your heart, new thoughts in your mind, and going and really paying little attention to the old personality, the old state of mind, the old story, the old feelings, because it is done, it is so, it is going to come. It's only a matter of time, and you can keep living through that law. Then your body has no choice but to shift, right? It can't stay that way. Like it could stay that way for a few months or a few weeks or whatever it takes for your body to catch up, or you not to have these mind, heart, soul slip backs. It's how long can you keep the state, keep the new mental focus, keep the new emotional focus. And that's why we use brain retraining and brain visualization. But I often think it's not enough, because we're everything that we do is a brain retrain, right? Every thought that you think is a brain retrain. Are you thinking, every state that you're in all day long is brain retraining. So it's not just a matter of doing it for half an hour or an hour a day. Yes, that helps. Yes, it gives your mind like an anchor and a consistency and a beginning point. But really it's about, if it's not shifting, it's because something in your heart or your soul or your thoughts or your thinking or your mind or your story or your perception is not working for you in your life. And the body's showing you, it's giving you signs, it's giving you a way that if you didn't have these physical symptoms, you wouldn't stop, you wouldn't pay attention, and you wouldn't reevaluate and change the direction of your life that actually needs to be changed so that you're living in accordance with who you truly are and who you want to be in this world, what you want to express. So it's actually a gift, even though we can't see it like that when we're in the moment because we just want it to stop and go away. It's giving you a gift, and your work is to go inside and do the work, to find out what's off, what's not in alignment, and then even more importantly is taking the action. The brain retraining, the law of assumption, all of it is through the action. It's taking action of new thoughts, new perceptions, new feelings, new perspective, new goals, new alignments with yourself, new purpose and direction in your life, new feelings in your heart. Like, what do you need to resolve or change in your life? Change something, fix something, resolve something. What are you hanging on to that no longer serves you? How can you let that go? So these are where all these techniques come in, like brain retraining or journaling or the inner work, whether you're doing fragmentation work or whatever it is that you're doing. These are tools that we use to investigate what is going on inside our emotions, inside our heart, inside our soul, right? Also inside our mind, our thoughts, our relationships, and we use these as tools to investigate, but really that's not the work. The work is once you investigate and you find out, the real work is the action it takes to change, to make a decision to change your life. Like, oh, this job isn't working for me, I have to change. This relationship isn't working for me, I have to switch. These thoughts, this story, this direction, my purpose, my goals, where I place my energy, I'm not following my joy enough, or my bliss, what makes me happy, what makes my heart sing. And so all of these things are the real work. The real work is shifting the identity, and not in a false way, but loving yourself more. Choosing each choice that you take, making sure that it aligns with your heart, your soul, like what you think and believe, what makes you feel good, right? It's giving yourself that love, giving yourself self-care. It's feeling good, living into a life that feels good, that feels like you. And I'm not saying you can't have stress in your life, because some stress is good. Like, I'm working on this project and I love it, and I'm stressed out, but I love it. It's because I'm motivated and I'm inspired. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not eliminating all stress from your life and just being calm. It's about living a life that feels good for you, that feels true, that makes you feel whole. Spending time in relationships with people who make you feel good, that make you feel loved. Saying and thinking things to yourself that make you feel loved and whole. And, what are you focusing on? Like, what's missing in your life? What do you need? Are there certain things that you don't have that you need in order to feel good? What are you not giving to yourself? Where are you not meeting your needs? All of these questions, that's the real work, right? The investigative work, all the tools that we do is just to show us that we're out of alignment and to find out where. But the change is really all the work we need to do to live a life that is basically an elevated life, that is a life of belief. Like, this isn't my life. Illness isn't my life, right? this is my life. And then we live the life that isn't that illness life, that old story, that old victim mentality, that old helplessness thinking. We start to begin to live a life that matches with who and what we want and what makes us feel good inside. And we do because we don't focus on the old story. We don't focus on the things that are going wrong because we know it is done. We know what we want is done. We assume that if we live the life that we want, it's coming to us. Everything that we ever dreamed and desired and want and can imagine will come to us because it's already done. If that's who we choose to be, then that's who we are, right? When you believe it at a fundamental level, then that's who you are. Just like smokers who want to quit smoking, they say, I want to quit smoking, but they still identify with being a smoker. It's somebody who just doesn't identify as being a smoker anymore. Like, my new life, I'm not a smoker. I don't even want one. I am not a smoker. And when they believe it, it is done. Then they will quit, right? It's done. The identity's over. They believe now, I am a non-smoker. I identify as this, and I go towards it. Then it is done. And they live their life, and they don't worry about the craving that may come up on them anymore. But they don't even identify as that anymore. They identify as a healthy version of themselves who is a non-smoker because it's who they are inside, what they believe, what they want to stand for. And so none of the process of quitting bothers them anymore. And eventually they just don't have any cravings anymore, right? So the physical side of quitting will still be hard, but it's not difficult anymore because they don't identify as that anymore, and they identify as something new. They believe it. They believe in this new future. And that's really, they never see them picking up one again or relapsing because they don't identify as that anymore, and they don't live their life in that way anymore. They've made new changes and decisions to go towards what they want, and they resonate with it, and they believe it, and they identify with it, and they know it just is. They just are a non-smoker now. They just are a healthy person who will never have one again. They just know it. And so that's how they can just get up and live a new life without thinking of it anymore. So we're going to start talking more about this because it's key. It's really the key to shifting and changing. And remember, the body is the mind is the body. When we believe it, when we think it, the body has no choice but to follow. It's just this going back and forth that we have, not being able to let go of the old problems or identities or stories or thought patterns, whatever it is. But once we believe in our hearts that we are healed, it is done. It is done. And we are going to now live our life in accordance with it being done, with knowing that it's coming to us. And we fully commit once we begin to live that lifestyle and elevate into that state and do all the things as if we were completely healed, then the healing ultimately comes. It lags behind a bit, okay? But it comes because it can't not come, because that's how the law works. And no one's really above that law. That's how it works because you are one. It is one. The mind, body, and soul, heart, all of it is one. It's just a different projection and manifestation of what's happening in the whole being. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you're excited about exploring this direction and really creating this for ourselves, because I really believe that this is one of the things that I did before that actually was the key, that actually was the thing. And so I know that it can work, and I know it's something that I'm focusing on now because I really truly believe it. And so if you're excited about that, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, so that we can really get into the law of assumption and how it works with health and practical things that we can do in order to really do what we need to do to be healed, to be 100% healed and be living the life that we want to live, the life that feels good. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.